The girth of his what?
You're like a father to me.
I'm Brady, I'm the rightful queen.
Hey!
I love the way it makes me feel inside.
What's up, everyone? Adam from FWCI, and this is Back to the Future 2, the pitch meeting from Ryan George. I am just frothing at this. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. This is my favorite movie trilogy of all time, and this is the best one of the three. I love this movie. This used to be on TV. I feel like this was on TV every 6 months when I was a kid. They never showed the first one. They rarely showed the third one, but Back to the Future 2 was just constantly on TV. Kind of annoyed me because I was like, you have 1, 2, and 3. Why don't you do the lot? But I think this is without a doubt the best of the bunch. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this movie. And if you want to support the channel further, patreon.com/FWCI is where it's at. I did react to the first Back to the Future pitch meeting. I mean, it was basically as expected. But a thing that Ryan George brought up in that I still think about to this day is that there is a Marty in the new timeline who or does he just disappear from the timeline and then come back? Maybe that's what it is. When Marty leaves and goes to 1955, does his thing, and then he comes back, the question is, shouldn't there be another Marty from that timeline? Or has he just changed his timeline to that? I love timeline mechanic bullshit. I think it's very fascinating and a great story element to include in any kind of movie. So let's see what the man himself has to say about this. This is Ryan George's pitch meeting for Back to the Future 2.
So, you got some new Back to the Future for me?
Yes, sir, I do.
This one's called Back to the Future Part 2. Oh, and we just re-released the second half of the first movie? That's pretty sneaky, but people did love it. No, it's like a whole other movie. That's probably even more marketable. So we're gonna start this thing off right where the first movie ended. Oh yeah, the doc shows up and says they have to go to the future to help Marty and Jennifer's kids. Exactly. So they're in the DeLorean on their way to 2015, and the doc knocks Jennifer unconscious. What? Why? Because she was asking questions about the future.
Yeah, why did he even do this in the first place? Jennifer did not need to come on that journey there. I don't know. Knock her out, leave her there? Because she did see the time machine? Still seemed unnecessary. Doc Brown, what would the president think? Wait, when was this? 1985. The president was Ronald Reagan, the actor? Shout out to Coach Beard from Ted Lasso. Coincidentally.
Isn't that kind of a natural thing to do? Why not just knock her out in 1985 and leave her there? Well, because we ended the first movie with her in the car and we didn't really know we'd be making a sequel, and now I don't want her there anymore. Fair enough. So now it's time for some adventure. So they dump her unconscious body in an alley. Oh my god. And so it turns out that in the future...
Oh my god, yeah. Good point. You couldn't find somewhere safer than an alleyway in the future where you don't know. I guess Doc's been there for a while. But yeah, I always thought that, whatever her name is, yeah, her story always felt like such a side quest, more of a tacked on thing.
Future Marty's son is gonna agree to do some crime with Biff's grandson, Griff. Illegal. And so Marty has to pretend to be his own son to decline the crime invitation. They really have to travel to the future for that? Couldn't the doc just have said, hey Marty, keep your kid inside on this day in 2015, or, be a better parent? He should have...
Yeah, I think Marty's already a shit parent though, isn't it? But yeah, oh god, so much questions and ramifications around every single thing.
So then Marty pretends to be his own son. Well, okay, is it gonna be tough to fool Griff? Actually, it's gonna be super easy, barely an inconvenience. Oh, really? Yeah, because as you know, when people have children, those children have the exact same faces as them. I have experienced that, yes, indistinguishable. So Marty interacts with a little hobbit-looking kid and then refuses the crime invitation, but then Griff calls him a chicken. Oh. So? Oh, yeah, right. I should mention I added a defining character trait for Marty where if someone calls him a chicken, he loses his mind. Kind of rare.
Does that not happen in the first one at all? Yeah. Yeah, no, that doesn't come in until this one here. Yeah, and we will see a lot more of Marty McFly getting sucked into being called a chicken. Usually by Biff.
rate for Marty, where if someone calls him a chicken, he loses his mind. Kind of random. It's gonna drive most of the plot points moving forward. Well, okay then. So that's gonna lead to a big old wacky hoverboard chase. What's a hoverboard? A board that hovers. Well, it does make sense that they would have those in 2015. I mean, if we don't have flying skateboards and cars by then, what the hell are we even doing? So anyway, Griff and his goons are gonna crash into a courthouse, and that saves Marty Jr. from going to jail. Okay, seems like he could still pretty easily be convinced to become a criminal, though. Well, then I guess they'll travel to the future and impersonate him anytime he's about to do that. What? So then Marty has this idea where he wants to bring a sports almanac to the past to do some gambling and screw over the system, make a bunch of money. Right, okay, I kind of see why his son turns out the way he does. But the doc is like, no, you can't.
That's a good point.
Screw with time like that, that could have some crazy repercussions. He just traveled 30 years into the future to take care of a problem that could have been solved with a book on parenting. Still though. Oh, okay, so Marty leaves the almanac behind, but frickin' old Biff overheard the plan and saw the time machine, so he goes through with that plan. And he knows how to operate a time machine because... Exactly. What? So he does that...
That's another very good point. And I was just realizing that just before he said it, I was like, how the fuck does Biff even know how to use a time machine? I guess it's all got... Yeah, nah. I'm not buying it, Biff. And he's an old man as well. He wouldn't be able to, you know, program his 2015 VCR, which I'm sure they had in this movie.
That thing and brings the DeLorean back to 2015. But then when Doc and Marty go back to 1985, it's like a completely different timeline. Well, wait, how did Biff get back to the 2015 that they were in? None of your...
Wow, I think I know why this reaction... I think I now know why he did this movie at this time here, because a lot of similarities between Biff and Donald Trump. In the future Biff, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed that future Biff was actually based on him, so... Let's see if it gets addressed.
Business. So turns out Biff used the almanac in 1958 to make a bunch of money, and now he's a big wealthy douchebag that turned the town into a frickin' dystopia. Not good. And he frickin' killed George McFly. Oh my goodness, and what about Marty's mom? Oh well, he married Marty's mom, so he's Marty's stepdad now? Yikes. Well, hey, at least we won't have any weird stuff with Marty's mom flirting with her own son. People thought that was pretty strange that we put that in the first movie. Okay, yeah, no, there's nothing weird like that in this one. Anyway, the first time that Marty sees his mom in this timeline, he's like, whoa, your boobs are so much bigger than I'm used to. Oh my, seriously? Because she has implants in this timeline, so Marty's like, whoa.
They just could not get away from it, could they? Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I remember Marty's mum and her giant fake tits, but that's a good point. Marty was definitely like, oh my god, Mom, what are you doing? This is heavy. These are heavy. Nah, too much.
Oh, what the... Where did those big things come from, Mommy? Okay, so he goes to confront Biff about the almanac, and Biff is like, yeah, an old version of me gave this to me in 1955, and he said that one day a kid might come ask me about it, and I'd have to kill that kid, so now I have to kill you. Why tell him that at all if he's just gonna kill him? Because that works. So then Biff goes to shoot Marty, but Marty jumps off a roof. Uh-oh. But then he floats back up, standing on the DeLorean, all like, haha,
an amazing
I did not
shot.
die when I jumped off the roof, you fool. Doesn't Biff still have a gun? Yes. And he doesn't shoot Marty. No, because then our protagonist would be dead. So then Doc and Marty go back to the past.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, they go to the day where old Biff gave himself the almanac, which as it turns out is the same day from the first movie. Oh, that's from the first movie. So they have to avoid themselves in the past because that would create a crazy paradox. Well, wait, if Biff only made...
This is such a great part of the movie. Like, when they go back and you see all the stuff that was happening from the first movie and they're trying to, like, dodge around it. Like, it gives me vibes of the Avengers one, where they have to go back to the Battle of New York and you kind of see everything from a different angle. I love that kind of storytelling. Give me more of that.
Movie. So they have to avoid themselves in the past because that would create a crazy paradox. Well, wait, if Biff only makes his money in 1958, can't they go to another time and not risk running into themselves? Oh, they absolutely could, but then we wouldn't get to revisit scenes from the first movie in a fun way. Right, we gotta have the nostalgia. So what happens? Well, now Marty's gotta sneak around and get this frickin' almanac back. Yeah, sounds like he frickin' better get that almanac back. What? Whatever you said is also what I said. Okay, so anyway, then we're gonna rewatch all these awesome moments from the first movie, but from slightly different angles. Very fun. And eventually there's gonna be this super exciting chase where Marty's on a hoverboard and Biff is in his car, and then right at the climax, Biff is about to run Marty over. Oh boy, how is Marty gonna get out of that one? Well, the doc's gonna save him with the flying DeLorean, and Biff is gonna crash into a manure truck. Climaxing with some poop is tight. Oh. What? Wow, well, sounds like a great movie. Oh, well, wait, it's not done. Oh, it's not? No, see, before the dock can land, the DeLorean gets struck by lightning, so that sends it into the past, into the Old West. Doesn't it need to be traveling 88 miles per hour? Nope. Are you sure? It's written right here, sir. Oh, well, okay. So then a Western...
Lightning is traveling faster than 88 miles an hour. Did I just science this?
Union guy shows up and he's like, hey, we've been holding on to this letter from this dock for like 70 years. Oh, fantastic customer service. Yeah. So what does Marty do? Well, he goes to see the dock that's still in 1955, and then we're gonna play a full trailer for the next movie. We what? An entire trailer for the next movie.
That's right. That's right. I remember that. There was a legitimate trailer for the entire movie at the very end of it. Because did they film these back to back? I guess they must have.
I figure we shoot 2 of these movies at once. So we don't even end this movie the way that movies end. We're just like, hey, more stuff, please stay tuned. Yes, we can do that. Why end it when you could just be like, hey, we're stopping it here for now.
Oh, wicked. Can I have a trailer for it?
Hi, this is Ryan George from the thing you just
feel
watched.
robbed.
Please.
I love Ryan George, but he shredded one of my all-time favorite movie to ribbons in this video, and I loved it because it's an absurd movie. It's so non-serious. I definitely don't feel offended or annoyed that somebody's pointing out these very obvious glaring plot holes from this movie. Biff figuring out how to use a time machine. I think that's one of the details from this that's going to stick with me the most as I continue through the rest of my life. But I guess Back to the Future was the first ever like really financially effective cliffhanger of all time from movies. I mean, I know there are movies that were in a sequence before this, there's plenty of them, but I mean, Back to the Future doing that kind of a cliffhanger, was that a big thing at the time? Because if this came out, I was very, very young. Like, I was not paying attention to box office and things like that. But it would make sense that if the cliffhanger was so effective from the first movie that they would double down on it at the end of this one here. And obviously just go straight ahead and make the third movie regardless. Something that this movie does well is having actors play multiple different versions of themselves. And they picked great. The guy who plays Biff, I can't remember what his name is, but he is just so goddamn entertaining in all of these movies. He's a great villain, and he's, I don't know, and even like meek Biff that we get at the end of the first movie, even that, I think he just embodied that role so well. And Leah Thompson is obviously great. Really a shame that we couldn't get Crispin Glover back for this movie and the other one. In fact, I'm kind of shocked. I reckon there's a few jokes on the cutting room floor from Ryan George about Crispin Glover being replaced by, and it was from memory, this is, like, don't quote me on this, but from memory it was kind of a dodgy thing where I think he sued them because he got they take a mold of his face for, you know, prosthetics in the first movie, and then when he didn't re-sign, I think they used that mold to make a new prosthetic mask to give to another actor to play George McFly, and then they were like, it looks terrible, fuck it, let's just flip him upside down so nobody notices, and it worked a treat. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on Back to the Future 2. Do you think it's just the shit, like I do? I'm putting it top 5. Oh, yeah, I think it's top 5 movies of all time, in my personal opinion. And as always, everyone, be well, stay safe, look after your friends, ta-ta, and farewell. Oh no. That's not good.